So guys, update 2.1.4 is just a little over a week away, and it's looking to be a heck of an update. We've already covered subclasses and all of the different perk changes that are coming to them, and in the most recent TWA, we went over the different weapon buffs that are coming. In today's video, guys, we're going to be breaking down some upcoming weapons that could potentially be nasty in this next sandbox. Some of these you've seen in previous metas, others have never actually had a time to shine. Now granted, we've only been told that these are all getting a buff, but we haven't actually seen the patch notes yet. Those won't be in our hands until probably next week when the patch goes live. So yeah, some of this is speculation, but come on boys, I think I'm on the money here. So without further ado, let's get started. First on this list is an old favorite. No, but really, nobody's even seen this weapon in for like ever. MIDA Multi-Tool. Yes guys, its entire archetype is actually getting a buff. Now depending on how substantial that buff is, we actually might see some more use out of MIDA Multi-Tool. Now something tells me that MIDA is not exactly going to be meta. You gotta realize guys, 150 round per minute scout rifles just got reworked or fixed. For the longest time, they were not shooting at 150 rounds per minute. So now they're actually able to hit their optimal TTK value of 0.8 seconds. MIDA here, on the other hand, has a 0.9 second time to kill at 4 crits, hitting at 51 per crit and 30 per body. If by some chance this buff increases the damage of these lightweight scout rifles to allow it to 3 crits in 1 body shot, then we might be cooking with something. Not necessarily gonna make it the most optimal time to kill, but definitely forgiving. And considering that everything about MIDA Multi-Tool is designed for PvP, with its MIDA Multi-Tool perk which boosts that movement speed, and its MIDA radar, which allows us to keep our radar while aiming down sights, it's a no-brainer to see why this scout rifle would be good. Next on the list is one of my personal favorites, the Dan. No, but really though, I love this gun, man. Everything about Halfdan, just the way it looks, the feel of it. It's just the kind of weapon you would want to go to war with. Now Halfdan is a 360 round per minute auto rifle. It is also receiving a buff. How big of a buff, we don't know. But I will say this, high impact auto rifles have never been meta, but surprisingly, they have a 0.83 second time to kill, which is one of the best TTK values amongst other auto rifles. They just require you to hit 6 crits in a row. So how much they're actually going to buff this weapon, I really don't know here, guys. They did state, though, that there will be a damage increase, so it's not like they're going to go in there and make the weapon more consistent. They might just buff the body shot damage of it to allow it to be a 5 crit 1 body. Either way it goes, though, weapons like Halfdan and even age-old Bond have a chance at performing well in 2.1.4. Speaking of auto rifles, an auto rifle that I know you haven't seen in forever. Sweet Business is giving the sweet loving out here, man. This was a weapon designed and made for Ron Swanson. Now I know we don't give Sweet Business a lot of love, but actually it has one of the best TTK values in the game at 0.6 seconds. The problem is you gotta be fully ramped up shooting at its max rate of fire. It essentially starts off as a 360 round per minute auto rifle with only a 1.2 second time to kill, and then as you activate its business time perk, that rate of fire increases to 900 rounds per minute. Of course, it does require you to land 10 crits. Regardless though, depending on the buff that 360s receive, Sweet Business could be good. I don't know. I want it to be. Let me dream, man. Next on this list is a weapon that I advocated for so hard back in year 1. Nobody, but maybe like 2-3 people actually used it. Black Scorpion. It was stated last week in the TWA that rapid fire scout rifles were also receiving a buff. And currently, right now in the game, the only scout rifle that we can receive in year 2 that comes with random rolls is Black Scorpion. You can get this from the gunsmith. Now the gameplay you see in front of you, this is actually the year 1 Black Scorpion, and you see how well it performs even now. It doesn't have the best TTK value though. At 4 crits in 1 body shot, it reaches an optimal time to kill of 0.93 seconds. Depending on that damage bump that it gets, I don't know, it could potentially be nasty. To me, when advocated very hard for stability, these weapons perform very good. And if you're a fan of full auto, these Vice rapid fire scout rifles all by default shoot in full auto. And being a 260 round per minute scout rifle, it really messes with enemies. Moving back and and forth, there was a lot of times, even in this gameplay right here, that I was outperforming and outshooting people with Not Forgottens. So I mean, yeah, I want this scout rifle to do good. Another reason why I wanted to do good, I need something to compete against pulse rifles. Bygones, blast furnace. I think this scout rifle can do it if it gets some love, Bungie. Give it some love. Next up is another auto rifle. It is a 360 round per minute auto, and it was brought to us in Forsaken. It is a weird one. Cerberus +1. Now, Cerberus comes with the exotic perk Four-Headed Dog. It shoots erratic bullets from all gun barrels at the same time. As you can see here, yeah, it gets pretty crazy. It does come with a perk called Spread Shot Package though, which essentially reduces the spread of its projectiles while aiming the weapon. Regardless though, this gun was not designed to be a weapon to fight in the mid-range. No, to me, it is a weapon designed to just blow people up that are trying to rush you, and it can do that. It has that ability. Depending on how big of a buff 360s get, I don't really know how this auto rifle fits into those other autos, because again, look at the damage values. Everything here is a lot different than what you get from your normal weapons. It's hard to gauge it, and it's hard to even figure out what its optimal TTK value even is. We know it shreds up close though, and if a 360 round per minute auto rifle buff is going to affect each one of these bullets, I don't know guys, it could get nasty. This is by far the wild card out of all the weapons that could be affected in 2.1.4. Now finally, the weapon of the hour. The gun that I lay my life down for on the regular. I want it to be good. You want it to be good. SUROS Regime. What's so funny is we recently reviewed this auto rifle, and even now in this current meta, SUROS still performs very well. Now it comes with two different perks, spinning up and dual speed receiver. Spinning up keeps the weapon at 600 rounds per minute, but of course as you hold down the trigger, the rate of fire continues to increase. But with dual speed receiver, the weapon is shooting at 360 rounds per minute. Hopefully the buff will affect both of those, considering that you swap between two different archetypes of auto rifle. And depending on which auto rifle archetype gets the biggest buff, one of these is bound to be nasty, right? Currently right now, my favorite is still spinning up. To me, it's more forgiving, it messes with opponents more, and when you honestly sit down and look at other auto rifles, 600 round per minute autos has a very forgiving time to kill value at 0.9 seconds. Now 0.9 doesn't sound that great, but in comparison to like other auto rifles, it's pretty good. Depending on the buff though, 600 round per minute autos could be really good, meaning SUROS with spinning up could be actually very nasty. Now the selfish side of me wants 360s to get the bigger buff, break out some damage on some people, some Cerberus +1, some sweet business. Come on, who wouldn't want that? Either way it goes, Cerberus is set up to be a pretty decent weapon in this next sandbox. Now granted, if these patch notes roll out next week and they're handing out like 1% buffs, I'm gonna lose it, boys. That's what we don't want. It's gotta be something substantial here, something to elevate these weapons in order for them to perform well. So Bungie, don't mess around here, man. Well guys, if you have not checked our sandbox videos out yet, in the description below are two videos, one that covers the weapons that are all getting buffed in terms of the different archetypes and the different nerfs that we're receiving, because yes, Telesto is getting nerfed. We also have a subclass breakdown of what subclasses are going to be looking like in the next sandbox, and currently I'm getting a video together, probably won't be out until later this week, of the exotic armor pieces to be looking out for, ones that are going to pair really well with the upcoming buffs to these subclasses. So be looking out for that. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.